I'm glad that we just took a few minutes just now to go over last year's RIS1 message, because I'm also the father of 2 youth who are definitely soaring. I also want to share that my unit contains Pasadena and Alta, Dena, which were the victims of the Eaton Canyon wildfire. And that was a wake-up call, but it also reminds me of the importance of obedience to the covenant, because youth, many years ago, in Pasadena, Altadena, identified areas where they could be absorbed with all the core activities. And in the Eaton Canyon fire and its immediate aftermath, there was a part of the response that got overlooked, but the Baha'is were in a position to help. We all know that when the fires came, immediately there was a big flood of food and clothes and even toys for the kids. But there's also a subset of the population that couldn't evacuate. The house didn't necessarily burn down, but it became uninhabitable. The Baha'is of Pasadena and Altadena, through the many years of relationships, found out, for instance, that what people really needed, those who were stuck and left behind, needed air purifiers. So the Baha'is of Northern and Southern California got together and very quickly purchased about 60 air purifiers and got them into the homes that needed it. Another thing that's interesting about that area, it's very diverse, and my wife is from Peru, she's the Latina. In that neighborhood, as you know on the news, evacuation and then the National Guard came in to watch intersections in certain neighborhoods to prevent looting. In the Hispanic community, in the sort of closed loop of social media, there's a lot of misinformation. And a lot of these families who wanted to evacuate or tried to were being told that all those troops are ICE agents, immigration just waiting for them to step out of their house. So you had men not going to work, women not going to work, not going to the grocery stores, and the kids not going to class. The Baha'is were the only group, apparently, that was trusted because of our long-term commitment. We were able to step in, look into things, get back, and relieve people's misapprehension because the social media was not doing it. Another thing is about the children whose schools burned down or became uninhabitable. The Baha'is for many years have been renting a block of storefronts in a very high-need area, and they didn't call the Baha'i Center. It says, this is for the neighborhood, just for the neighborhood. And the rent doubled in the last few years, and the regional Baha'i Council says, should we hang in there? Yes, they did. When the schools burned down and became inoperable, all those kids needed tutoring. They're falling further behind. The Baha'is opened that up. Another thing that gives me hope, having to do with my sons who are in their 20s and soaring, and me as an adult who just decided to retire this year, is we heard from one person that there's all this effort in the neighborhoods, especially the Hispanic neighborhood. One lady who was a member of a community that mostly not documented. And one person said to the lady, says, well, all the fires, the aftermath, the hardship, the immigration, the new pressures, aren't you afraid for you and your family? Because a lot of you people are not documented. And she said, I know who Baha'u'llah is. I am not afraid. If my family gets arrested and deported, we'll do it in Mexico, and that's it. Not afraid.